We're going to be doing another computer build. This one is from one of my other bowling buddies here. We're going to just go over some of the things we're going to be using for the computer build here. Starting with the Corsair CX650M Semimodular power supply. We're going to be using the Samsung Evo Plus, the 970 version. I believe it's 250 gigabytes. The motherboard we're going to be using is the MSI Z490 Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. We're going to be using 2 sticks of 8 gigabyte 2400 megahertz DDR4 memory, Corsair Vengeance. And usually in Intel motherboards, megahertz speed doesn't usually matter even with gaming performance. It would matter if you're using a AMD motherboard. The processor we're using is the 10th generation i7-10700 LGA 1200, which is exclusive to the Z490 boards. We're going to be using the RTX 2060 MSI Gaming Z. For the cooling, we're going to be using the Hyper 212 Evo. We're also going to be using Thermaltake Pure Plus RGB fans. As well, it's all going to be housed in the NZXT H510 White version case. Looking forward to building in this, so here we go. Alright, step number 1 is to take the case out of the box. And as we all know, we always handle things with care. I built an NZXT case before, and I like the NZXT case layout, so just have to be careful on how we get this up. Oh, here we go. Case is out of the box. As you see right here. We take one piece out, that's the bottom styrofoam. And we take the, just be careful not to do anything with the plastic. Now, of course, this is tempered glass, so we have to be careful. Top styrofoam comes out. And we'll now take a look at the case itself. Okay, there you go. There's your case right here. And so what I'm going to do here, in order to continue on with the build, I'm going to take the panels out. We're going to do a few preps on it, nothing serious. And as we see, it comes with a couple of fans on it. It comes with a top fan and the rear fan. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the side panels off and we'll put it in the case. Of course, we need to handle this with total care because, again, this is tempered glass, and we have to be careful with this. We're going to take the side panels off here. And we're going to put the side panels away for now until we need it in the future, when we're completely done with the case. So, first we're going to take the back panel off. And then we're going to take the tempered glass panel off. Okay, I had to fight a little bit with the cost, but I got it off. It's in the box now, and yeah, it's pretty good case layout here. I'm gonna loosen up all the stuff here. Looks like we got some case screws, NZXT stuff included within this. I'm just gonna get everything all loosened up. We might as well get everything ready to go. What we're going to do is we're going to prep the case up first. We're going to take care of the I/O panel. We're going to mount the power supply. We're going to do all the small little things. Get this thing ready to go. And then once that's done, then we'll start worrying about disk drives, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to stop the recording right here. Okay. Everything's all set up. I already put the Thermaltake fans in. Rear pan. Took the original exhaust fan out. The NZXT fan is now out, as you see. And I kept the original top exhaust fan in. Put the 3 Thermaltake Pure Plus fans in. Also, on the back of the case, I put the Thermaltake controller along with the Corsair power supplies in place. Everything is temporarily tucked away for now. And what I'm going to do is I may get another hard drive to install for extra storage. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep up the motherboard. So I'm going to put the case to the back over here. And the motherboard is out. So what I'm going to do at this point right now is I'm going to use the top of the motherboard box. Now this motherboard already comes with an I/O built in, so you don't have to put anything into the case. So that's the good thing about it. So what I'm going to do is take the motherboard out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the RAM in it. I'm going to put the NVMe drive in it. And then I'm going to put the cooler in it, as well as the processor. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this out of the packaging. I can just be very careful how it comes out. This thing is taped up pretty well here, as you see. Try to hold on to the motherboard on the edges. Try not to okay, as it is here. Try to take off the extra tape that doesn't belong. It's basically the past the protectors. So at this point, what I'm going to do now is install the NVMe first, and as soon as I install that, the first thing I'm going to do is, as you see, this comes with two of them, 2 NVMe screws. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the first one down here. That's just in case if you want to install another NVMe drive in the future. So now what I got to do is find a smaller screw bit. Looks like it. It's always important to use a magnetic screwdriver, whatever you do. Just so nothing gets lost. The reason why I do that is so that in the future, if I want to add an next-gen NVMe drive, I can. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Second, I'm going to install the other NVMe drive up here. Well, in this case, I'm going to leave the shield protector off to the side temporarily, and I'm going to open up the NVMe drive, which is over here. Which is the Samsung drive, obviously. And there you go, Samsung 970 EVO Plus 256, which is good for the operating system. We're going to find the other bag and we're going to install the NVMe. Let's put it over here. I realized that this came with 3 sets of screws. So I'm going to make sure I install it in the right direction first, obviously. Which goes like this. Very well thought of by MSI to have a third screw in case you lose any. Oh, there we got that in. Okay, now before we put this away, there's a little protector screen, and we're going to take the basically, that's the heatsink protector that I put on to keep the NVMe drive from overheating. Okay, that's in. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the Core i7. We'll install that next. So these new LGA 1200s, they do not come with the, especially the i7, does not come with a stock cooler. You have to get an aftermarket cooler to install it in. So at this point now, okay. Now what we have to do is we have to find, looks like the dot is over here. I'm going to open this up very carefully. This is actually the very first time that I'm installing this in a and we're going to locate the arrow here. And we see the arrow on the lower left. So we'll look for the little nook right over here. Perfectly installed now. A little bit different compared to the older. Yeah, we're going to save this just in case you have any issues with the motherboard in the future. So, processor is now installed. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to install the RAM. And then once we install the RAM, then we're going to install the cooler. Now, especially on the newer motherboards, and all motherboards, you want to always install it by whatever the instruction manual calls for. So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this off to the side for a second. I'm going to get the box, and I'm just going to double check the instruction manual just to make sure that I'm installing the RAM memory in the right spot. So, we're going to look for So as we install the DDR4 memory, we're going to and we're going to install it in A2 and B2 because we have two components. So next we're going to get the memory modules, which I was correct upon. We're going to open A2 and B2 right now, which are these two slots right over here. Okay, here we go. And we're going to find the notches. Goes the other way.
You've got mail.
Okay, we got one in. Okay, now we got this in. And now we're going to get the hardware out. So now we successfully installed the and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the old parts, all the boxes and stuff in here. And what I'd also like to do is get some of these instruction manuals out because they do come very useful. Especially, I'll be also installing the Samsung Magician software once I get this computer on here. So put this away. And here's the hardware to the Hyper 212 Evo right over here. And we're going to open the box up. This is not the box, this is from my other one. So it looks like everything's in the other box. the hardware to my NVMe case. Oops. It's always good to have your hardware laying around when you need it. Okay, so hardware to the NVMe. Good right. And here it is. So first thing we're going to do is now the parts in the Hamper 212 Evo was used once in a computer build that failed, so basically at this point what I'm doing is I'm taking all the screws out and start everything by scratch one more time. Now we need to install the back plate. Get at least the back plate on. Okay, the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that the back plate is tightened. So, find my own back plate screw. This is actually the nut that the Hyper 212 Evo comes with. Hyper 212 Evo also comes with its own thermal compound, which I already used. So thankfully enough, I have my own thermal compound, which I'm going to use to install the thermal paste. But what I'm going to do now is make sure that these are totally tightened so that the back plate does not come out. Okay, without that being firmly in place, next step is to install the making sure that this is perfectly lined up. Okay, I'm going to install the thermal compound now. And I just finished the last of that thermal compound there, the Corsair thermal compound, so that's going to go in the garbage when it's all done. Anyway, now we're going to install the main unit. As we install the main unit, first thing I like to do is take the fans off, which I already did. Actually, they put a little extra of the other thermal compound than I had because it doesn't look like it's enough. So there we go. Now I think we have enough. So while that sits on here, and it looks like I'm going to have to take the RAM sticks off temporarily, at least one of them, because I'm having an issue installing the Okay, now we got that on. Okay, now making sure that everything is lined up properly for the install. Okay, we don't want to go too tight with this, because again, if we go too tight, we could crush the we're pretty much in at this point right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to install the CPU fan is right over next to the Okay, so now at this point we have the CPU fan installed, as you see over here. Just going to tighten up these screws just a little bit more. I don't want to over tighten them because then it might create damage on the motherboard. At this point now, we're pretty much all set. We're going to reinstall the RAM memory. Okay, we're all set there. And at this point now, we're going to just put everything in the case. Lay the case off on its side. Okay, we got a nice perfect fit. And at this point now, I'm going to turn this off for a little bit while I install everything in. All the screws. Alright, this is the final look of this. As this thing really came together really nice, really easy, no issues whatsoever. Very, very happy with it. I'm going to be powering this up tomorrow, see how get the final result of it. I'll do some program installation on it, and that's really about it. Again, very pleased on how this all came together. This NZXT H510 case, very easy case to build in. I just really have no complaints about it whatsoever. Good bang for the buck for $69. You get a good tempered glass window, For AIO cooling, it's okay. If you have an AIO, you would have to install the AIO in the front, as there's only a 120 millimeter fan on the top. But other than that, I mean, this is an air cooler type build with the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, and again, very, very happy with this build. Again, the main test will be when I power this thing up, make sure everything loads up properly, and then we could take it from there. Alright, we have the new computer right now running. Right now, at this moment, right now I am updating the BIOS at the moment right now. So there is work that needs to be done on it, as seen. I'm doing a update of the original BIOS to the most updated BIOS there is, and once the computer's BIOS is updated, then I will go ahead and install Windows. Okay, right now we're currently installing Windows 10 Pro, which this computer will have. Will be a few programs that I will be installing. Right now, I don't have a product key. I will be getting a product key once all the necessary stuff gets installed into Windows. So right now, this is being done, and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, this is the completed build of the computer inside the NZXT H510 case. Just to summarize the parts again, they're included. I have a 500 gigabyte Western digital drive that was used in a previous computer build, which is basically used for storage. I have the Thermaltake PWM unit, which controls the Thermaltake ARGB fans. That's the backing to the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. Cable management was just basically such a breeze in this thing. There's your Corsair CX650M 650 watt Semimodular power supply in black cabling, which makes it very, very easy, and I love black cabling. It takes away from the ketchup and mustard effect. And of course, looking inside of this, here's your Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo Thermaltake fans. As you can see right over here, the MSI MPG Z490 Wi-Fi, along with the MSI RTX 2060 graphics card. Also included, I added an RGB strip. On the top over here, I had an Asus ROG power strip, so that worked. Also, there's your original cooler. So you have a second exhaust cooler on the top. So I will now show what it looks like with it all powered on in a second. So this is what it looks like all closed up. As you have the USB Type C, USB Type A ports. You have your headphone microphone jack on one with the adapter. See the back of the case with the intake. This has some nice dust filtration in it. And as you see, this thing is on, powered, and lighted up. With the Thermaltake fans in a specific mode right now, and here's your RGB lighting. Asus addressable 5-volt RGB. So this build really came out great, and I think my client will really like it, with even Gigabyte K9 and M5 K9 keyboard and M5 mouse. That is all.